And Paula and I unaccidentally matched today.
We did not plan this.
Color
It just
scheme.
happened. I love that it's like yellow and then like black. Like even the shape of it is almost the same. I love that cat. I just love it so much.
I know. He's so cute. I just love that he's just sneakily right here, you know?
Yeah, because at first, like especially in this framing, you're like, oh, it's just like a stripe or something.
You're like, oh, what a strange design t-shirt.
It's a cat.
It's a cat.
Who doesn't like a secret cat?
Oh man, I love it. I'm all about it.
So, welcome to the Gallifrey Gals Get Warped.
Warped.
I am Paula.
And I'm KATRINA.
And we're so happy to have you back here for episode 14 of season 3, the best season of the show, if you ask me.
It's been so good.
I mean, the rest are going to be good too. It's not like it all goes downhill.
No.
This is just
Yeah.
my favorite.
It's just a very strong. It's a very strong season.
Here's the question: will this episode continue the streak of strong season? Or
I think it's only going to get better.
We'll have to find out.
I guess. I guess.
A matter of perspective, which is the name of the episode we are watching.
What a segue!
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Okay, let's see. Is there anything? I'm checking my thermostat because it is cold as a mofo in here. Why do I say things? I don't know. That's the weather app, not the thermostat app.
Not the thermostat app.
So yes, this episode, KATRINA, is called A Matter of Perspective.
Okay.
And yeah. I believe, if I'm not wrong, I could be mistaken, I think this is the first actual episode that Ronald D. Moore... I feel like I've said that in the past, though. Oh, this is the first episode that Ronald D. Moore was on, but this might be the first episode he wrote on, and it just got aired out of order, or maybe I was wrong.
Oh, like
before.
It got flipped around?
Yeah, or maybe I'm wrong now. I'm actually looking now.
She's gonna fact check herself.
This site says this constituted Moore's first assignment after joining the team. So
it looks like now you're right and past Paula is wrong.
Who knows, y'all? Hey, do you know? Let me know in the comments below. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will let me know anything.
Sure you will. Oh goodness.
Yeah, so this should be. Yeah, I can't really set it up without giving anything away.
Then so that's that. It's a matter of perspective.
And then I have a few little things I'll mention at the end about the production, and then I'm just curious to know what you will think of. Yeah, it's 64 degrees in my house right now.
Oh my god.
That is cold for inside. So
that's cold for inside. Bump that up to 70 at least.
I put it up to 69 degrees because I'm saucy like that.
Saucy.
All right, let's. I'm anxious to get into it. I think we should start.
I'm excited. Okay, let's go.
Furthermore, the unsettling overtones of proto-Vulcan influences.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. If I can be of further assistance.
No, thank you. Captain's log, stardate 43610.4.
They shot him having
After completing a delivery of Dr. Simeon to Botanical Forum Research Station, our away team has received an update from Dr. Nell Apgar.
So dramatic.
To create Krieger waves, a potentially valuable new power source.
Welcome back, Ms. LaForge.
Oh, something about valuable new power
Let's
source.
come on to Riker.
I caught most
still
of it.
Down on the station, sir.
Transporter room to engineering. I have a power drain.
Oh!
Transporter room. Is Commander Riker aboard?
Not yet, Captain. I'm having trouble clearing the signal.
Transporter room to bridge.
He's aboard.
Why do you sound
What
so
the
surprised, Mr. O'Brien?
Well, for a moment, we weren't sure you left the space station in time.
In time for what?
It just exploded, sir.
Commander Riker.
Uh-oh.
I am here to take you into custody.
Custody on what charge?
Suspicion of murder.
Murder? Now, wait a minute. You can't come on.
Chief Investigator, we are perfectly willing to cooperate with you. Then release the prisoner for transportation to the planet.
The fuck is this about?
Just what is the evidence against my officer?
Just about ready for
have come
Picard to
forward
say
to
the same thing.
describe
The
Commander
fuck is
Riker's
this about?
threats against
Right.
Dr. Apgar. Threats? I'm aware there was a private conversation between you. Apparently, it was much more than just a private conversation. But he will be given a chance to prove his innocence. Investigator, in our system of jurisprudence, a man is innocent until proved guilty. In ours, he is guilty until he is proved innocent. And you are under our jurisdiction. If I understand Federation regulations on this matter, and I just happened to look them up before I am aware of Federation regulations, sir. And if you investigate them further, you will find the captain decides if extradition is warranted. We must recreate, step by step, moment by moment, all the events leading to the explosion. We will require access to all the witnesses, as well as the data from the lab's ground computers. It would be impossible to accomplish here. Perhaps not. Mr. Data, will you report to my ready room?
Aye, sir.
We may be able to assist you in recreating these events.
Holodeck. Riker!
This is Chief Inspector Cragg.
He went.
Commander, by taking testimony from the
Hold on.
and from witnesses provided by the investigator, would it be possible to program the holodeck to recreate what happened on the science station?
Why did I feel like I knew
Dr.
there'd be a
Apgar,
lady
I'm
involved?
Commander William Riker, Lieutenant Commander
it's a
Jordan
Riker.
Forge.
My assistant, Tana. Well, let's get on with it, shall we?
Let's not be in such a hurry, dear. Perhaps our guest would care for some refreshments.
My wife, Manua.
Pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Apgar. If you're
I
prepared to
recognize
start,
that guy's
so we...
voice.
Of course I'm prepared.
All right, why don't
Yeah,
you give me an
it's very
overview of your
familiar.
research while Mr. LaForge and your assistant take a look at the experimental data.
Fine, whatever. I must say, Commander, I resent this early arrival. Starfleet will get its converter.
She is
I've
like,
had a few setbacks, that's all.
We're not here to pressure you, Doctor. We just want an update on your progress.
Tana, show the commander's assistant whatever he wants to see. Give him full access to our records.
Yes, Doctor. If you'll come with me.
Sure. Is it? You know what I
Wait
mean?
a moment.
I'm just
Riker's like,
Computer, freeze program. Then it's your testimony that it was Mrs. Apgar's idea for you to spend the night aboard the space station.
It's my testimony, and it's the truth.
Resume program.
also her, like their makeup of their brow, like, and the way that her eyeshadow is worked into it is so fucking
really
I'll be very
cool.
comfortable, thank you. Good night.
Like, cheers to the makeup artist.
The
My
environmental
goodness.
controls are over here.
I'm
Eesh.
sure I'll find everything I need.
And the door shuts by touching this panel.
Okay, thanks. Bye. No. No.
This is my sanctuary. Privacy is very important on a small station.
What are you going to put in your report, Riker? That there is no justification
Yikes.
for all the extra dicocilium I've requested? That is why they sent you early, isn't it?
Doctor,
I can explain why I needed it. They have no idea what my problems are. There are explanations for all of it.
need explanations.
Then we have nothing further to say to each other.
This guy is.
It's so interesting
Tell
to
my
do
captain
like
to expect your grievance.
a court testimony, basically with like reenactments. You know, it's like such an
Yeah.
interesting idea.
Riker to Enterprise. I'm ready to leave now.
Oh.
Stand by, Commander. Engaging transport.
Freeze program. Then I return to the Enterprise.
Make any sense to you?
No, I don't recognize it. Not even the main
What the
deflector puts
fuck?
out that kind of spillage.
Where would it be coming from?
I don't know, Wes.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it's capable of putting a hole in solid uranium.
And solid uranium.
And what if it's capable of blowing up a reactor? Why do I feel like this lady was involved? What the fuck did you do, lady? Jonathan Frakes, I mean, he did a really good job, like
Our guest quarters are quite modest.
Acting both parts. Yeah.
acting both of them. But I hate seeing him like that.
The station is
Because it's
small,
not him.
and I
That's
guess
not
he uses it as
Riker.
my sanctuary.
Who do you need sanctuary from?
Yeah, he's
The environmental principles are here.
He may be a flirt, and
riled up
he
kinda
may.
guy, but he's very into consent.
I was about to say, but consent is his thing.
Yeah.
A man more interested
Like,
in
no.
waves than a lovely woman like you.
I don't
How
like
is
it.
possible?
My husband is one of the greatest minds in the galaxy, and we love each other very much. Please don't.
Must be very lonely. A princess in a very high tower.
Please, my husband will be
I
looking
hate
for me.
this.
Your sanctuary.
Fuck.
Do you think there's enough evidence to prove his innocence?
Because everything is stacked against him.
Source of the radiation. Can you join us on
And that's what's going to save him.
Knowledge.
Is the radiation.
With the help of Mr. LaForge to explain. Computer, load manual program 1. Time index.
I'm so excited right now.
1441.
What kind of lawyer trick is Picard gonna pull
Show
off?
me what happened.
Fine, whatever. Starfleet will get its Krieger wave converter. These things take time. I've had a few setbacks, that's all.
Freeze. Mrs. Apgar, this is taken from your deposition. It would seem to suggest that your husband had failed to create Krieger waves.
Yes, but he was very close to a breakthrough.
He said he needed more time. He was upset by our early arrival. But in fact, I maintain that he had already made that breakthrough. And that he was lying to us. On what basis?
For the last several hours, the Enterprise has been experiencing unusual radiation bursts. But if it could turn this into a weapon, it would be worth a lot to the Romulans, the Ferengi, and a few others. Now, Dr. Apgar had been ordering extra dicocilium for months. That's a pretty good indication that he was trying to create larger reflective coils.
And when the away team arrived early, he must have been worried that Starfleet was becoming
He panicked.
suspicious. We know that the energy pulse which blew up the reactor originated from Commander Riker's position.
It
not
shot
Dr.
at
Apgar's.
Riker's position.
We are hypothesizing that Dr. Apgar energized the converter at the moment of Commander Riker's beam out, hoping to make his death look like a transporter accident. But something went wrong. The energy pulse hit the transporter beam and reflected back to the reactor, which caused the explosion.
An interesting hypothesis, but impossible to prove.
Computer load
He's
program.
all like,
Forge 1.
I'm contributing.
Coordinate auto-engage time sequence. The next discharge from the field generator is scheduled to occur in just a few moments. And we've aligned the holodeck program to recreate the final events as Commander Riker described them. Only this time, our facsimile will automatically process the energy charge from the planet and reflect it, just as the original converter did before the explosion.
I hope this is safe.
Really?
We'll know it instantly.
Auto.
And you killed yourself.
Based on this new evidence, I withdraw my request for Commander Riker's extradition.
Yeah, you do.
Good
Commander.
job.
My apologies.
Alrighty.
So, what you think about that?
I enjoyed that.
I have thoughts, but I want to hear what you think before I say any of them.
I enjoyed it for the most part. I feel like. I'm still a little upset that it was just kind of left open with her perspective of like making him out to be a rapist.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like, why have we not addressed this?
We're not gonna
we don't know what happened, and like obviously all three stories involve them in some sort of an embrace, and I suppose Riker could see it as her coming on to him, and she could, but Troy said she wasn't lying, so she thought maybe he wanted it, she thought he was coming on to her, but then the husband comes in and sees it as consensual. Like, what happened? It bothers me.
That bothers me. And I don't, and it's tricky water. Like it's like a tricky area too, because you know, we never want to victim blame or victim shame or any of those things.
And I personally don't like any stories that use a woman lying about sexual assault as a plot point, excuse me.
Yes.
Because I think it gives people the idea that that happens a lot, and it truly is very rare.
That's what is upsetting about it, and also why it's upsetting that it's unresolved.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing I didn't like about it, was they were using that trope of, oh, look at her, she's lying, you know, to come after this man and ruin his life.
Troy says she wasn't lying, but yeah,
she said there wasn't any hints of deception.
It's so like or maybe she just convinced herself that's what happened.
That's what I mean.
And the guilt of losing her husband, maybe she convinced herself. But yeah, it's why, spoilers, I don't like Gone Girl. I don't like it at all.
Oh,
and
yeah.
This is a big spoiler, but that's a reason, because there's some fake rape allegations in that. And I think it's such a disservice to actual victims, men and women who are victims of
men and
assault.
women both.
There's no reason to lie about that stuff, and it happens. There really isn't. And I don't care what you think. Like, you get so much ridicule on yourself for coming forward and saying something like that happened to you. Mm-hmm. For it to be false is so, I'm not saying it never happens, but it is not a thing that happens all the time. And
but it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating that maybe like the one time in comparison to the other 9 that it's happened, people focus on the one time. And they're like, you see, this is how it is. This is every victim's lying. Every person is, and it's like, no.
And it's like tricky too, to be like, imagine being Troy in this episode and being like, I'm close to you and I care about you. And to me, you're a good person. And it's hard for me to believe that you would be capable of this kind of behavior. And yet she doesn't in this episode, but I think in real life, you have to consider when someone comes forward about someone, it's very difficult, because you have to reflect. You have to go, well, did something happen? Are you capable of that? You just haven't shown me that side. Or was this some kind of misunderstanding, which is possible? Or it's very difficult when someone you care about and trust is accused of something, because you really have to have an unbiased opinion.
You have to be able to step outside of the box and look at it and look at the facts and look at the, you know, and that's very, very difficult. It's like, this is kind of taking it to a dramatic like standpoint, but it's like people who knew Ted Bundy. Yeah. Like, there were people that knew the car he drove, and that was the car they were looking for. And there were women who were like, there's no way. It's not him. He's too, you know, like, so it's a very, I liked the other aspects of the episode of like trying to figure out the who done it, you know, like
otherwise,
it's that part was like, you know, and the exciting end point of like, oh, it was him trying to murder Riker. Like, that's like, oh shit. Yeah, okay.
That's pretty good reveal. Yeah.
And I enjoy those aspects of it, but I really, I do not like the unresolved.
I don't either.
Point of the story there.
It's
very not. They don't even
wrap a bow on it or anything.
Nothing.
Ignore it. I'm like,
they were like, okay, sorry, you can go, Riker. Yeah. And the wife's just over there like,
I'm like, but what happened though?
And for the only thing that I can is because from Riker's perspective, I don't know. I don't know.
Riker paints himself as he's a little too like defensive in his version. Like, he's a little too like, I would never. And we are like, we know you would though.
We know
that you would be into
that he would be flirtatious.
Yes. And who knows? I don't like not knowing.
I don't like not knowing, and I don't like the I don't like the I don't like the implication, but I also don't like the leaving it as the victim lying to get what she wants out of it. You know, like,
it's tricky.
It's a very complicated, I mean, you know, sexual assault and rape and all of that is just it's awful. And it's just such a complicated thing to write into a story.
Yeah, I was curious how you would feel about this episode. I think it's fun. I think it's good courtroom mystery.
I love the
fun.
courtroom mystery side of it. I love Picard getting into it at the end, being like, you know?
Apparently some of the writers on the show have said that they thought this was the worst episode of the season. I'm not sure that I think this was the worst of what we've watched so far, actually. It's interesting and it's fun and it's not boring and it's exciting. And other than, again, that one plot point that we don't like
it's still a good enough episode.
Fine. Yeah, I found it perfectly entertaining.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. The worst episode so far. I'm trying to like
some of the writers thought.
Now I'm in it and I'm trying to think of all the episodes we've watched and I'm like, wasn't there one that I was kind of like indifferent about?
I can't remember what it was, but there was one you're like, meh.
I'll probably, when I edit them, that's when I'll be like, oh yeah, it was this one.
But I think because there's also a thing where the director for this one was like, this was really challenging because you had to shoot the same thing 3 times, but in different ways. It was hard to kind of keep track of like what version we were in and how we were supposed to be and how do we want to present it. And so I wonder if some of the writers felt like their script didn't get translated over to
well enough.
Yeah. And so maybe that's why they're like, we think this is the worst episode of the season. Because I really don't at all. I think it's
I don't think it's the worst. That's a very big statement.
Yeah.
Over an episode that, again, it's that one point, that one plot point of it that I definitely have issue with. But other than that, it was fun. There was investigating. There was, the little side thing of where is this radiation coming from, and obviously when they presented that, that issue, I was like, okay, that has to do with the explosion. I don't know how, but like, that's obviously, so yeah, that just seems so dramatic. That seems like not to throw shade at the writers, but that seems a little like maybe some lines or something got cut that they wanted in there, who knows what. And they're like,
I'm just the worst realizing, oh my gosh, I've just now realized why that first scene is in the episode. Because they're all painting.
A matter of perspective.
And Data doesn't like Picard, but Picard likes what he's doing, and it's all a matter of perspective.
Oh my God.
I can't believe I just connected that.
Oh my God.
You saw it here first, folks.
Folks. That's it. That's hilarious, but it's a matter of perspective. Oh, but see, I don't like that. See, because then we get into the like,
yeah. We don't.
And that's right. That's where I start to not like it.
Yeah, too hard about it. It was.
You know what? This is.
Yeah,
and this is also, this is a good point that, like, because there can be communications in situations like that, in sexual situations. Communicate. Speak what's on your mind.
Clear.
Consent is clear. Consent is not just a verbal yes or no. Body language is a huge thing. Pay attention to the person you're interacting with.
Yeah.
If you touch them and they start to shy away and you keep going, like, you need to check in with your partner.
Check in. Yeah.
Whether that be a fucking one night stand or your significant other who you've been, because this can happen to anybody. This can happen to people who have been together for years, like, we just need to stop having so much shame around communicating about
to talk about
things.
It. Yeah. A lot of people are like, oh, but if I say what I'm thinking, it's like less sexy or whatever.
It's less this. It's not. It's
it really isn't.
not.
Like at first you might think that, because I've had that thought too. It's like,
absolutely.
Oh, if I come out and say that, it'll be less. But then once I started like communicating more and better, I was like, it's actually more
pretty
sexy.
Yeah, it's actually pretty hot when the person is
and you know what I want, and we're gonna do that.
Like there's so much empowerment for both sides, like both people in the situation.
Women don't have to worry, because let's be real, I have a lot of guy friends who are like, or have moments where they're like, I look back on that and I don't know, like, did I do something?
Did I cross a line that I shouldn't have?
Yeah, you don't have to have that worry if you just like
communicate, talk about it.
So and that's our PSA for this episode.
That's our PSA, the message of just being, and it doesn't, it doesn't mean you have to be uncomfortable about, like, you don't have to put your sexual preferences and all that out there, but the person you are with, whoever that may be, communicating with that person and talking openly Communication is key.
Or even if you're like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to act now very clearly. I'm going to act like I don't want it, but I do. We're going to role play out this thing. Like if that's what you're into, you can say that.
Say that.
It's not like having a safe word too. It's like, but if I say this or if I do this, then that means I actually don't want it. You know,
yes.
Like, you can set that up.
Clear communication.
And
you can do that.
You want, but know clearly ahead of time that this is what we're doing. I think, yeah. Anyway, empower yourselves. Everyone.
Everyone.
Non-binary. Everyone.
All of the above.
All
in
right.
between.
Gallifrey Gals out.
Boom!
Thank you so much for watching Gallifrey Gals Get Warped.
And our little TED Talk of sexual communication afterwards.
We love you all so much. Thank you for being here on YouTube and on Patreon. We appreciate your support. I'm excited to get to what's coming up next here. So we're going to roll on into it. I am
so
Paula.
ready.
I am
Paula. And I'm out of frame, but I'm Katrina.
And I guess catch your Gallifrey Gals next time as we boldly watch what no noob has ever watched before.
Engage.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a little thumbs up, and if you want to be notified when we post new content, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and hit that little bell in the corner.